What up, everybody? InstructaBeats back again here with our fraction unit. Today we're going to be talking about turning improper fractions into mixed numbers. So let's split it open and see what our objective is today. Our objective today I will be able to rewrite improper fractions as mixed numbers using the secret shortcuts. All right, but before we get to the shortcuts, right, what was the long cut? If you haven't been with us, how do we write this improper fraction as a mixed number? So the first thing I'd have to do is I'd have to draw out my area models. All right. And I'm going to start with 3 right here. Okay, here we go. And I see that my denominator is 4, so I'm going to split each of these into 4 equal pieces. Typically, ooh, that was not very equal, but I'm going to do my best. Okay, there we go. And I know that I need to shade in 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I've represented 9/4 using an area model. Now what I would have to do is count the holes that I had completely shaded in. So this was completely shaded in, that's 1. This hole was completely shaded in, that would be 2. And then I had 1/4 of my last ones. So my improper fraction 9/4 could be represented as 2 and 1/4. Now that's really great, but what if it was like 77/4, right? Do I want to draw an area model or make a number line for that? No, which leads us to our 2 super secret shortcuts that we're going to talk about today. So you could either decompose that improper fraction, or you could view that fraction as a division equation and solve it. So we're going to talk about both of these today. We're going to pump the brakes on the decompose and really focus on the super secret shortcut of dividing first. This is really going to blow your mind, right? Every fraction is also a division problem, right? Every fraction is a division problem. And to understand what I'm talking about, let's take a look at this example right here. Here we have the improper fraction 12/6. Really, all a fraction is a division problem. I'm going to take 12, and my fraction bar really is a division sign. So I'm going to do 12 divided by, that's what that fraction bar really means, 6. And they don't tell you that right when you start learning about fractions, but a fraction literally is a division sign. This literally means 12 divided by 6. Now, to help you remember that, let's take a close look at the actual division sign. Look at the sign we use for division. It has a fancy name, not really important. It literally is a fraction bar. If that dot was a number, let's make it a 1. And then I had my fraction bar. And then this dot was a number, let's make it a 2. The division sign literally is a fraction. Another brain bomb. Man, we're just blowing things up all over the place. So that's kind of how I remember that I could rewrite fractions as division equations, and literally it means the same thing. This is going to be an important skill to have as we take our super secret shortcut, but let's practice this first. So if I have 8/4, that's really the same thing as saying 8 divided by 4, which by the way would be 2. By the way, 12 divided by 6 would also be 2. And if you made this improper fraction 12/6, it would equal 2. If you made an improper fraction 8/4, it would equal 2, even if you put it on a number line. All right, and then we have our last one, 1/3, which really is saying 1 divided by, right, the fraction bar, 3. What are you talking about? I can't do 1 divided by 3. Oh, actually you can, because if you take a whole, right, this would be 1 whole, and you divided it into 3 equal pieces, you would be left with 1/3. Oh my word, another brain bomb. Okay, so that's going to be important to understand that fractions really are division equations. Why is that going to be important? Let's take a look at our steps for using division to turn improper fractions into mixed numbers. Okay, step number 1, we're going to rewrite the fraction as a division problem, and then we're going to solve it. We're going to actually do the division equation. We're going to write the quotient as our whole number, and if there is a remainder, we're going to write that as the numerator of your fraction. Step number 3, you rewrite your denominator. Your denominator stays the same. Step 4, boom, done. Okay, so these are our steps. Go ahead and pause the video, write those down, put them in your notes, and now let's look at them in action. All right, so I want to turn 11/5 into a mixed number, okay? So I'm going to come back to decompose. We're going to use the steps we just talked about. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite our fraction as a division equation, okay? So 11 divided by 5. And we're going to solve it, right? That was step 1. So 11 divided by 5 would be 2 with a remainder of 1. All right. So your quotient becomes your whole number. Your remainder is going to become your numerator. And your denominator stays the same. So 11/5, my denominator is still going to be a 5. So 11/5 is actually the same thing as saying 2 and 1/5. Now let's take a look at decomposing. Because I love the division, but I don't think that really conceptually helps us understand what we're doing. Decomposing goes back to when we drew out the area models, okay? So if I'm going to decompose this, I'm going to take out 5/5, which is really equal to 1. I call this a big 1. I draw a 1 around it, okay? Although that doesn't really look like a 1, it is a 1. Now I can take another 5/5 out, okay? Because there we go. And that's going to be another 1. The rectangle just kind of helps me remember that 5/5 is equivalent to 1. So if I decompose, if I take out 5/5 and then another 5/5, that's 10/5, which means I have 1/5 left over. And so again, I get the same answer, obviously, because it's 2 different shortcuts to do the same thing. I had 2 wholes, right? 2 ones, and 1/5 left over. So you see, no matter if I'm decomposing or dividing, I'm getting the same answer. Let's take a look at a we do. All right, again, starting with our division. So we're going to rewrite the fraction as a division equation. And then we have to solve it, right? That's step 1. So 9 divided by 3 would be 3, and there is no remainder. So our quotient is going to be the whole number, but I didn't have a remainder. That's okay. I could put 0/3 there, but nobody goes around writing whole numbers with no fractions as 3 and 0/3. Instead, they would just write 3 wholes and leave it at that. So if there is no remainder, then it's not a mixed number. It's just a whole number, and that's okay. This improper fraction can just be a whole number. Now if I wanted to decompose this, my denominator is 3. So if I took out 1 whole, that would be equal to 3/3. Okay, I'm just going to write my 1 like that this time. That's how I normally write it. Then, okay, that'd be 6 left, so I can decompose another 3/3, putting my addition sign here. So that means I have 6 total right now. I had 9, so I have 3 left over. And I've now decomposed this into 3 wholes with no fraction left over. So 9/3 is equivalent to 3 wholes. So I can either write it as 9/3 or 3 wholes. It means the exact same thing. The key here is if there is no remainder, you just write it as a whole number. All right, let's do one more we do, okay? And for this one, I'm actually going to start with my decomposing. So I have 13 halves, okay? And I'm not going to draw the arrow this time just because I'll draw that in. But I can take out 2/2, that's equal to 1, okay? Because my denominator is 2. Plus another 2/2, that equals 4. So 13 minus 4 would be 9. I have 9 left. Do another 2/2 then. Okay, that leaves me with 7 left. And now I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I need 1 more. I got to go outside my box for this. There we go. And so I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wholes I just took out and a leftover fraction of 1/2. If you notice, I'm not drawing a 1 around the 1/2 because it's not 1/2. 2/2 is equal to 1 whole. That's why I draw the 1 around. I call it the big 1. So 13 halves is the same thing as saying 6 and 1/2. If there were 7 cookies and I ate 6 1/2 of them, and you ate 13 halves of your 7 cookies, we ate the same amount. I guess assuming the cookies were the same size. Now, if I wanted to do this with division, this is where I like to divide for ones like this because I don't really want to draw 6 big ones and then have that 1/2 left over. That takes a long time. So for this one, I would just rewrite this as a division equation. 13 divided by 2 is 6 with a remainder of 1. My quotient becomes my whole number, so I have 6. My remainder becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. So if it was 13 halves, my denominator still was 2. Go back and think about our area models. When we did the improper fraction mixed numbers, the denominator was the same for both of them. So 13 halves, whether I decompose it or divide it, is equal to 6 and 1/2. All right, here is our you try problem, okay? Now, I only have divide here because it's 67/8, and nobody wants to have to draw out that many big ones. So it's good that you know both of them. Sometimes it's better just to do the division shortcut, okay? So if you're ready, go ahead and push pause, try it out, and then push play and see how you did. If you're not there yet, don't worry about it. You can do it as another we do problem and just jot it down in your notes. So hopefully you just paused it and you tried it. And I'm going to follow my own steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write it as a division equation. And I know when I do 67 divided by 8, my answer is going to be 8 remainder 3. So when I write this as a mixed number, my quotient becomes my whole number. My remainder becomes my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. If you notice, I'm saying the exact same words every single time because that way it's consistent. It just helps remind me every single time. So I could either write down 67/8 or I could write down 8 3/8. It means the exact same value. All right, hopefully that was helpful. You got two different shortcuts. You can use whichever one you feel comfortable with. Now you don't have to draw out the number lines and area models. We thank you so much for checking us out. We know there's lots of different options online. We appreciate you guys. Check out all our other songs and videos. We'd love for you to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, let us know where you're watching from. Again, thank you so much. InstructaBeats out.